Hello, Pete, and thank you for joining Create With Decoded, which is a series of sessions where we speak to expert builders on how they're building stuff with no code and AI. I'm really excited to talk to you because I've heard your name a lot recently because of something you built. You built No Code Fusion, which
hmm
is an AI which can help people to build apps on Bubble super
hmm
fast. And from what I've heard from all of the Bubble devs I know, it's really, really good and
I
does
hope so.
things, does things in a way that Bubble developers themselves would want them done, which
Yeah.
is just really great to hear because obviously there's tons of talk online about how you can build an app from a prompt now using code, and that does put some kind of existential threat over the whole world of no code, and particularly my career and probably your career as well.
hmm
And so to know that someone is building AI tools that work really well with no code platforms is very, very exciting because although no code is already super fast to build with, um, adding AI into the mix is just got to be done to enable us to keep up with the evolving world that we're living in. So thank you very much for joining me. Firstly, I would love to hear a bit about your background and where you learned all these amazing skills.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for all the kind words. It's been really fun so far building this. But yeah, so I think I started Bubble in 2020. Um, had an idea for an app. I feel like as most people start with. I'm a musician, and so it was like a marketplace to connect musicians to TikTok influencers. Um, and it was a good idea. I just had no idea what I was doing. Had never started anything like that, and so completely failed. But I learned a lot along the way. I realized that Bubble was super fun, and I got kind of like very addicted to it. Um, and then let's see what happened. I started working for AirDev, which we both, as we were just talking about prior to recording, we worked at a little bit together, got to have a project together. And yeah, AirDev, I kind of worked my way up to a senior developer where I got to oversee a lot of different projects, and just really just got Bubble overload, learned so much, saw so many different things. Um, and yeah, over that time, I then started doing a little bit of freelancing outside of it, and then kind of transitioned more to that. And then starting in October of last year, actually over the summer of last year, I had started to build like the component library for No Code Fusion. And then I started seeing these other tools pop up like V0. And I was curious how they were getting such good AI results. Um, because I had been using ChatGPT for years to help me generate like code snippets and mostly just like logic type stuff. But whenever I had asked it to generate any kind of UI, it just looked terrible. Um, and I realized V0 was mainly using ShadCN, which is like a pre-built component library. And something kind of clicked in my head, like that's the key to AI creating good UI. Is it like if you try and tell an LLM to create a good UI just using standard HTML, CSS, I'm sure it's a lot better than it used to be, but it's still not going to be like beautiful. You're probably going to get um, something pretty mediocre looking. Whereas if you have it abstracted to this component library, it can kind of piece things together without having to rewrite a bunch of CSS and styling and stuff like that. And so then I realized maybe I could apply that to my Bubble component library, kind of figured out some stuff. And I think I launched the first version after BubbleCon in October. And then since then, I have a few weeks ago launched a full kind of like 10-minute full app generator. So it'll create the database, the option sets, the page structure, and the UI for you as well. And so it kind of gives you like this first draft boilerplate template, which you can then build off of. So yeah, that's my story.
And did you know how to code before you discovered Bubble?
No, so I took one coding course in college. I graduated in 2020, and we learned how to use Java, and built an Android app, but it was just terrible. But so I knew like a little bit of some of the basics, and then I had started to like learn React. One of my roommates was a software engineer, and we had this idea for this other thing. And so I'd started to kind of just like learn some stuff, but it never fully clicked. Until I basically picked up coding um, as a Bubble developer. Like the Bubble, I'm a very kind of visual guy, and I think a lot of Bubble developers are. Like it's way easier for me to like visualize logic in the kind of like no code editor. But then that taught me kind of like how to think like a programmer, and then I realized like, oh, it's really just the same thing, just like with words. And so I kind of like picked that up along the way, and especially now with LLMs, yeah, I can do a fair amount of code for sure.
Okay, that's interesting because yeah, I've just been playing around with like Cursor and some AI code generators recently, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really tried to understand what they're doing because they just generate like 500 lines
Yeah.
of this confusing looking stuff. And yeah, I haven't really gone into it to try and see how it's working. But do you think being a bubbler is like a good stepping stone to learning to code?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, definitely. Like I'm proof of it. Because yeah, again, the bubble for me kind of just taught me like structure of an app and how to think like logically. Because as a programmer, you're really just problem solving, and just yeah, figuring out how to go from 0 to 1 with something. Um, and so it's yeah, it's really like a similar thing. It's just like a different syntax, a different way of writing it. Um, so
So
100%.
do you think all of the AI code generators, so like Replit, Bolt.new, Lovable, do you think they're all using component libraries? Because they all seem to generate stuff which looks really nice,
Yeah,
like streamlined.
they're all using Tailwind and ShadCN. That are I don't know if they're all using ShadCN at this point, but they're all using Tailwind, which is again, I'm not like a huge programmer, but it's kind of like a CSS styling type thing, which just makes it way easier. Um, and then, but yeah, that's how they're getting good results. If you see any of like if you go to Lovable or Bolt or anything, you're going to get like an app that's mostly like Tailwind. And if you go to V0, it's all ShadCN type stuff. I
Okay,
think.
okay.
I hope I'm right there. I'm pretty sure I am.
No, it's interesting and it does make sense. And so when you started playing around with this concept for getting AI to generate a bubble app or even just parts of a bubble app, like there must have been it must have been a very frustrating process, and there must have been some points where you were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! Like I cannot believe this works." Because like AI is like that, even if you're getting it to write an email, let alone build something really complex and it just actually works.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first generation I did. Like, it took me a while to like get the kind of the architecture, but when got the first prompt to actually create something and then copied it into the editor, I freaked out. I think I sent a screen recording to my friend Lindsay, who's another Bubble developer, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And yeah, so it was really cool. But yeah, I mean, every time I see AI do something crazy, it's still this insane magical experience of like just like disbelief, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if we'll ever get tired of it and just accept it as normal. I guess we probably will. But
Yeah,
certainly, yeah.
definitely getting more and more desensitized to it, but it's still just like yeah. I mean, even just, every other day we're seeing something on X or Twitter come out that's like a new AI voice thing or a new whatever, and that's just insane to keep up with.
Yeah. I'm definitely a bit desensitized to the stuff I see on there because sometimes I kind of feel like when I'm playing around with these tools anyway, I find
Hmm.
it hard to get stuff to work, and I feel like they're filming the same video like 30 times, and then the one time it works, they're like, "Look, it works," but the rest of the
Yeah,
time it's just giving you rubbish.
I have this concept of like the AI trade-off, where it's like you're taking this risk of doing something with AI, where you're kind of fully like if you decide to start doing some kind of task, whether it's coding or something else with AI, you're then committing to that journey, and you're committing to that possibility that it doesn't work out in the end, and then that you wasted that time. Whereas if you had just done it manually, it's like with a more structured approach in your mind from the beginning, you might be further along than yeah, if you did it with the AI. So it's a huge trade-off. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, and it's super frustrating when it doesn't, because like
Okay,
you're just
so
like, oh my god, I just wasted all this time on this stupid thread and it still didn't give me the results I needed.
I have wasted so much time doing stuff with AI, and I can't even say for sure that it saved me more time than I've wasted playing around with it.
Yeah.
It's probably about even, but
Hmm.
it is kind of fun, and I do know that yeah, if I get it to work, or if the models improve to a point where they do actually do what I want, then it's going to be really cool, and it's good that I had all that practice beforehand. But yeah,
For
I still feel
sure.
like we're at early stages where it's just making silly mistakes quite a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Given that you know some code, would you ever feel comfortable um, building a full SaaS app using AI, not in Bubble, just using code, but
Hmm.
AI generated code, and then like actually running that? Like, do you feel confident enough that you could debug it if necessary and understand the code base?
I mean, so like I've right now the No Code Fusion Chrome extension, right? Like that's full code. I've had to do a lot with that, and then the way like the way the AI works, there's a lot of code involved with piecing together these Bubble components. Although it's all hosted on Bubble, which is something I'm proud of, and I think is pretty
Wow.
cool. Um, but no, I still have never fully like built like a full SaaS application with without Bubble. At this point, like I am incredibly quick with Bubble, and especially using No Code Fusion now. I've really like figured out a workflow to the point where like I don't feel the need to really use do that. Like I'm uh, pretty confident I could build at the speed of another. I mean, it depends on the app. If it's something like, I don't know, some crazy like front end thing, then sure, like I could probably get uh, defeated by some AI engineer. But I think for a lot of standard SaaS apps, I've got a pretty good workflow down. So I still just haven't fully felt the need. I use it. I use Lovable a lot for like kind of prototyping ideas and seeing how things could work. It's pretty good at like standard looking landing pages, so it's nice to like see that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to give it a proper weekend of fully committing to trying to build something like that. But yeah, I could probably figure it out. But my answer is I don't feel the need yet.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I've just recently started trying to build an app where some of it is going to be code that is generated by AI, but
Mm-hmm.
majority of it's going to be Bubble. And I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like that's the best of both worlds because I will understand all the Bubble side, and
Yeah,
then the small part, which is more technical, is going to be done with code, which I could probably understand because there's not going to be too much of it. So that's quite a kind of a nice happy medium between the two, and I think is
mm-hmm.
realistically achievable for a lot of Bubble developers to have these kind of hybrid apps.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just think one of the biggest benefits of Bubble is just having like its biggest criticism is that it's vendor lock-in platform, but I think that's also one of the biggest like benefits to it is it's just one platform that literally handles everything. So I don't have to worry about I don't know. Like I know they have some kind of DDoS protection. I know they handle all the file uploads, the full database, like even the logs are in there. And I know you can get these things with like other tools, but it's like so, somebody said it's a terrible front end platform, it's a terrible back end platform, but it's the best full stack platform. And I think that's true. It really just like has everything you need there. And I think it would just be overwhelming to have to manage a bunch of different aspects of it, like all the different things that go into an app. But I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just personal preference. As long as you have a result that you like, there's really no difference as to what it's built on. In some ways, I guess in some ways it does.
Yeah, agree. Okay, so you said that you have a very good process or a very fast process for building products. So would you be willing to show in real time some building using your own extension? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'd love to see your process, and I'm sure other people would. So
sure.
yeah, if you're up for sharing your screen, then we can get it up there and just watch you build.
So I think I just created a sample demo app, which uses the NoCode Fusion template, which I need to launch. Right now it's like utilized when you use like the full app generator, but I don't think I have like the public template out there if you just want to start from scratch. So I got to do that. But okay, so we have index page. I've got the Chrome extension here, which I can pop up. And so I have kind of like a full component library where I could manually copy and paste things in. Should we do just like a kind of simple task management thing?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. So we'll create just like a task data type. We'll say, just give it a name, text, and then let's just say like if it's done. We're just gonna keep it really simple for now. Okay, so what I can do is first, all I need is this page, I think. So I'll paste in the page and we'll do it's like task portal. Okay, so this gives us like a standard looking portal page. And so what we can do is like edit here. So I set this up in kind of a unique way for the tabs. Basically, it works by the first thing here is like the name of it, and then this uses a dynamic phosphor icon. I do that because I'm trying to minimize as many plugins as possible. I found just better performance.
Dynamic. So is that the native bubble? Oh, okay, it's an SVG.
Yeah, so I'm using this. Yeah, so I basically looked at what Bubble does for an icon, and then just kind of took the HTML.
That's a good idea. But I need that for my own boilerplate because I'm using the hero icons.
Those plugins just I'm really trying to reduce. I found like huge performance gains from minimizing plugins.
Interesting.
So that's the goal. But I don't know why they don't just have a normal dynamic icon. Like that seems like the smart thing to do. Anyway, so let's just keep like home for now. So what we can do is then so we can go to our AI editor, and what it does is it has access to our database. So I can send it task, and then it has access to these fields. And so I could say generate a list of tasks with the ability to add a new one, include a header at the top, and a checkbox inside the task. So do that. And, this isn't like the craziest example, but it'll kind of show the capabilities.
So how much understanding does this AI have of the app and the way it's built?
Also, all it has access to is what I give it.
Okay.
But I am working on potentially having like more and more context. So in this example, I just sent this one data type, but there's another option here where I could send the full database. So paste this in. Okay. So what I got is just preview this. So we got a task list, nice like header, and then this button, which can help me add a new one. So sometimes it like gets the layout a little weird. So let's just like move that here. So this you can see is pre-set up with a repeating group. It's got a search for tasks. We'll just add this to be like created by equals current user. And then looks like it just used name, and we can probably get rid of that. And then checkbox. How do I do this? Oh, okay. So then let's just get rid of this. Maybe put this in here. And then this, now we can just say, make changes to thing. Let's just do, well, I wasn't prepared. Let's see. This is parent group's task is done. Oh, okay. So we'll call this list group task. Edit workflow, make changes to thing. List group task. Done equals parent groups yes or no is no. I think that should work. So we'll add a new task. Oh, and then I don't know if that workflow is fully set up. So then we can go to our pop-up for save. So it has the create new task. So we just need to add name equals input. Let's just like give it a proper name.
Is that something you could get the AI to do, like rename the elements?
Yeah, so it does actually do that for, I'll show you in a sec. There's
Like
still a lot of improvements I need to make to this, but yeah, I'll show you in a sec that it can do that. Just say test. Okay, it looks like that didn't, oh, that's because this is kind of a weird way of doing this. All right. And then, yeah, okay. So it looks like that. And then, you know, I don't know, you could say like when parent groups yes is yes, we could say, how did you strike through?
I've never used strike through. I didn't know that was a thing.
Let's see, task, name, like this. Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So as you were saying, yeah, adding like name to this. So we should be able to now say like, if we pass it a task, I could say generate a edit button that shows a pop-up to edit a task. Yeah, that should be fine. So now this should dynamically pull in the fields into the input. So we can copy that. I should get this here. Okay. So that gave us a button. Let's adjust this. So yeah, the goal with NoCode Fusion is to really like give you kind of like boilerplate stuff that's pre-tied to the database that you could kind of go in and modify to how you like it. So it's not going to be like the best designer in the world.
I mean, this is already better design than almost anyone can do, like unless you're a designer.
Yeah. No, it's pretty neat. So you'll see here, we've got the edit button. And then in this workflow, so what it does is display data in pop-up edit, and then animate pop-up edit. And so pop-up edit, now, if we take a look. So this will be a pop-up with a task data type. And so everything should flow through here. And so now we have this standard input. I mean, we probably wouldn't need this, so let's just keep task name. But we'll see that passes through. And so it did give us a name here, input task name. I think it only names it when it's doing this dynamic thing. So there's a lot of updates and stuff I could make to make it better. I've got a whole laundry list of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, you'll see here. So we've got input task name, and it's pre-taking it from here. So if we hit edit, and we'll see here, test is already pre-filled. And so all you'd have to do is then edit this workflow. Name will be input. Let's name edit. And done. And then this should auto reset it and then hide the thing again.
So without giving too much away about how it works, how much of this was you writing a very prescriptive prompt to tell the AI what to do, and how much of it is it just the AI using its own intelligence to decide, okay, I need like the initial content in the input, and I need to give it like a name and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's kind of a combination. Basically, any result that you get from NoCode Fusion will come from the component library. What it's doing is taking all these components that I've pre-built. So like this edit pop-up, this edit button is this is a component that shows a pop-up. So it comes with the pop-up and it animates it. Then the AI can kind of take that and do the tweaks that are needed. So it can like set the data type, and then it has access to this like group paste thing. So it can like add elements into that. And so, yeah, everything it will never generate something that is not within the component library. So yeah, it's really just a combination. But another cool thing too is this should be like mobile. Yeah, decently mobile responsive as well.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so that's kind of like would you want to see anything else with it?
I mean, do you want to show me the full app generator?
Yeah, I mean that will take 10 minutes. Let's see.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't have to, but I am interested to know like what the output is like.
For sure.
I mean,
okay.
what kind of stuff have you
I
seen
can do
come
a
out
whole
of it?
wide. Let's just say generate an Airbnb clone. That's always a fun. Oh, whoops.
Right.
Let me just modify on the back end. Good stuff. Let's see. I'll set my app generations back down to 0. All right, cool. This should work now.
So is that actually 10 minutes of the AI just crunching through and thinking and
So yeah, so like what it does first is give me kind of like a scope document. So this is like my users and my user stories. And then when I hit generate app, so what it's going to do is start with thinking about the page structure. Basically I built my AI I attempted to how a bubble developer would think about creating a bubble app. And typically the best way to do apps in bubble are to do these kind of like single page apps, because it's just way faster. So like if we add another tab here, let's say this will probably be like, typically it's best practice to have, we'll collapse this and say get tab is, I think it's home. So this will be visible. And then in our tab group here, I think it was users and then users, maybe. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, this is, so like if we had another, you know what, we can generate it super quickly. That's the benefit of it. We'll say now user, and let's say for this one, generate a table of users with a header and a filter. Why not? But yeah, so single page app is typically the best way I like to do things on Bubble, and a lot of Bubble developers like to do it because this is so much faster than if you had separate pages. Like if you had a separate page for task portal and then user portal, it's very slow because Bubble has to like reload everything kind of. And so I set up my AI tool to kind of like do that. Oh man, this is going to be a big one. This might take like 15 minutes. So we'll see.
It might be like, yeah, it might have gone off to the latest version of Airbnb and been like, okay, Airbnb does experiences and like walking tours and food tours and all this stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. But so like what it's saying here is 3 pages. So I'm guessing that's going to be like the search page, like the home page of Airbnb. So I'm guessing it's going to create something like this, and then it's going to create a like a host portal, and then a guest portal, and then these sub pages are referencing all of the things that would like go into those. So we'll see here. Looks like it has some kind of search, listings, guest dashboard. So it's like going down the list of these UI components to create. But yeah, if we go back here, let's just see what this user table looks like. So I'll call this group tasks, users. Oh, it didn't give me a header. Let's just copy this one. Manage your users efficiently. But yeah, so we have, so this is kind of like the table structure, and then we have like a filter pop-up, which you'd have to kind of configure. But if we add a user in the back end, Peter test. I think it comes set with an admin thing. Oh, wait, what? Oh, because let's just turn on privacy rules.
It's always privacy rules.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see here, comes kind of like preset with the table. Got the name, the role. That's a blank profile image. But yeah, so that hopefully shows kind of like then how you would continue to build out your portal. So what was the initial point of doing that? I can't remember.
Well, you were just talking about, the best way to build Bubble apps.
Oh, right.
Is a single page with the different hidden elements that kind of show and hide.
For sure, yeah.
But when I tried out the Bubble AI, it did generate different pages for all the views. Which I would never normally do.
Exactly, yeah. So that is one of the benefits of mine that I've kind of figured out. But yeah, this might take, and I do have a hard stop in 8 minutes. But But what this would do is kind of like what I've showcased here. So minus the database. So it's going to create the full database, and the option sets, and then basically create a page like this task portal, for each of those user roles it's identified. And then it's going to put in, so it looks like it's creating guest dashboard, bookings, wish list, and then kind of like paste everything in. But yeah, one of the cool things I can show too is last week I released a kind of like custom HTML generator. So I could say like, now generate a dashboard for a task management app using charts from Chart.js and a few other metrics. And then we can put it on thinking mode too, which will, I still don't really, it's kind of just like, I just think of it as like crazier results. Like it's using Gemini's thinking model. So it can like, yeah, just come up with some crazier stuff. Let's see. So I'll copy that. Let's add a dashboard here. Cool. Let's create a dashboard.
So is it done that in HTML?
Yeah, I'll show you the chart. Well, so this is Bubble, and then it should have created a chart, Chart.js. So let's now add to our thing here. We'll add dashboard, and then, oops. Oof, man, I don't know. Yeah, oh man, the downside of this method is you have to kind of know, what am I doing? That's crazy.
What? The bubble like text input thing is.
Yeah, it's doing some crazy stuff.
The amount of times I've been like coaching someone on Bubble, and
it does something like that.
Yeah, or I'm like, you have to hover your mouse just like 2 pixels to the left of that, and you should see a cursor show up. No, 2 pixels, no more. Oh, that's too far. Yeah, it's like, it's very temperamental. Or like to exit a drop down, you have to click anywhere outside of the drop down, but not over there, like on the gray area.
Yeah, no, it's super finicky. All right, so it created these kind of like 3 metric cards at the top, which you'd have to like set up with your logic. And then here, I believe it's not showing it because we need to add this like CDN link to our header, which I'm now realizing too, I might have to.
Yeah, if you're on a free
agency plan,
it probably doesn't work.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and then
I love the agency plan.
This header. Hopefully now we should see a chart. Oh, I'm getting prompted for a username password. What is it? What? Username password. It should work. Okay, there we go. Okay, sweet.
Whoa.
So yeah, pretty cool. So we got some charts in there, and what we might do is maybe put it like a borders thing so it looks a little better. So what it did is use Chart.js and generate the code in order to use that. And then if you wanted to populate it with actual data, we would go to, where would we go? What is it showing? Do you see the data? Oh, here, data. Okay, so like say we wanted tasks by status. You would like do a search for tasks and like populate the data like that.
Nice.
But yeah, so this will, I mean, charts are kind of like the simplest possible option, but it can do a lot of other kind of cool, crazy stuff.
If I was trying to do those charts in Bubble, I'd have to figure out one of their charts plugins, and it's always so difficult to like figure out how to put the data in.
Exactly. I mean, you're still going to have to figure out how to put the data in. So
yeah, but that's nice. That's nice and simple.
Yeah. And I mean, the benefit is like you can take the code and say like, Actually, maybe let's do it in a new thread. Well, actually, I'm wondering if you might take that code and like go to ChatGPT or something. Or no, I guess you could do it in here. Regenerate this HTML element to be a, what is it right now? A bar chart, to be a scatter plot or something.
So if you have to go in a minute, do you have any apps that were generated from scratch that you want to like, here's one I made earlier kind of thing? No
An
worries
app?
if not, but I'm just, like one that you've done from testing where it's generated, AI's generated the whole thing.
Let me see in my app list if there's, I know I did an Airbnb clone at some point. Also it looks like it, oh man, I only have 2 minutes. Do I have something cool I could show?
This is exciting.
Well, I mean, no, yeah, I don't think I have anything.
Needed, so.
Yeah, but I can say like the NoCode Fusion Chrome extension, right, is like built using NoCode Fusion, and then yeah, but I've built a few apps now for clients that also use it. I still haven't done like a full like just a test. I don't really have the time. Right? There's so many things I'm like handling.
Yeah.
But I haven't done like a full test build for like a dummy app, which I know I really need to do to show people the capabilities. But yeah, I mean, I've now done a few client builds with it, and it's gone super smoothly. So that's kind of like the proof in my mind. But yeah, maybe I should get some better pre-built dummy examples.
Yeah, well, that'd be amazing. Like, I don't know if, maybe we can hop on a really quick call at some point another day and just see the result of that Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I could just edit that into the end of the video. So
cool. It also looks like it generated. So I could maybe, let me download the file and then maybe I could send it to you and you could try importing it. I'd have to send you the instructions, which I can do really quick.
And when I import it, is it just it's not gonna be just ready to go? Will there be like things I need to fix?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, again, it's gonna give you like a boilerplate good first draft, but then you'll have to add privacy rules. There's gonna be a few like data connection issues, which I'm working on trying to reduce, but yeah, it's not gonna be a perfect app.
Okay. Well, no.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Cool. So I can, yeah, for sure. I'll send you that file, and then I'll also send you the instructions as to how to import it.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll add that to the end of the video. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing all this cool stuff. And
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to see where it goes in the next iterations, because I think it is very important that the no-code world is like embracing all this AI stuff and building faster and having kind of code augmenting our no-code as well. So yeah,
I fully agree. Yeah. Well, yeah, I appreciate you having me, and no, this was super fun. Excellent. And if the results look like shit, go easy on me.
Well, you're not going to be there, so we'll see. Yes, I will go easy on you. Don't worry.
Cool.
Right. So unfortunately, Pete had to go because obviously he's a very busy man. He's built something very cool, but I didn't want to end the episode there because I wanted to see obviously what the result of the app that we were generating looks like. So after the call, he emailed me this .bubble file, which is the output from the app generation that he ran in NoCode Fusion. So there's instructions here about how to import your generated app, and I'm excited to do it just to see see what the results are like. So I have done this. I've created a new Bubble app, started on a 14-day free trial, And now I'm going to go to settings, import application, and then upload the bubble file. So settings, general, let's see, import application. I'm going to find the file here. Okay, so now the import is finished. I have followed the instructions here, which said then once the screen refreshes, click optimize application, and then deselect all and run the optimize process. So just doing that. That's all done. And then reload the page and install the Chrome extension. So let's reload. Okay, so the task, if you remember, was to build an Airbnb clone. We've got an index page which doesn't seem to have anything on it at the moment. There is browse listings, which I imagine will be the main page. So let's just start by previewing to see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got a search box with location. Let's see, it doesn't have any pre-filled like location data, date range, so a nice date range picker, number of guests. And then I can click search. If I run a workflow on that, so that doesn't have any workflows. Let's have a look at listings. Listings, so it hasn't created any example data, but we do have a listings page. And it would be good to know what a listing looks like. So let's go in here and add a new entry to our listings. Or actually, let's see if there's a way to do that. So host portal. We preview the host portal page. Okay, nice dashboard, upcoming bookings, listing, performance, earnings. And I've got all these options down here. So bookings, messages, so this is pretty impressive. Earnings, reviews, settings, name, email address, payout settings. So it's like done a lot of the core UI that you might want. Let's try adding a new listing. Okay. So I've just downloaded some images. Okay, so it looks like I can only do one at a time. So let's try saving that. So I think if I inspect this, image source empty, parent groups, listings, photos. So let's have a look in the database to see if that listing actually saved. So I've got a listing here. So it created the listing, but it did not save any of the details I had put in. So let's have a look at the workflow. Okay, so group main content. Okay, so the place where you upload is going to be host listings. Edit this element, pop up, add, save button is here. So create a new listing. So it has not correctly linked up to all the inputs. So we've got title, description, location, things like that. It has not correctly linked up all of the fields. So when it's actually saving, it is not creating an empty listing without any details. But this part is good. So it's resetting the pop-up. It's animating the pop-up to disappear. So let's just go and let's try and fix those things because I want to see what it looks like with a listing. Yeah, so the funny thing here is it's got input description correctly. It has linked them up correctly, but it just didn't get the thing's value, which, yeah, I feel like it should have got. So I'll definitely pass this back to Pete. So if it had got all of that, it would have worked really well. I'm guessing that's because the price input is text. Okay, so that should now work. Okay, so I've saved that. So here I can see my listing. Can I view it? Yeah, I can view a little bit of the information. And let's go back now and see if we can see that on the browse listings page. Yeah, okay, so it's there. It's not complete the information for the detail view, but it is there. Let me see if I can search by location. Oh yeah, that button doesn't do anything. Let's see. Okay, so the really cool thing is it has created separate reusables for each of the elements, which is definitely the preferred way to build things in Bubble, because it just makes it a lot more modular. It's a lot easier to manage, like the workflows, if they're all in separate reusables. So that is exactly how I would build this app. So if we just check out a few more of these reusables, so we can see, yeah, they've got like workflows. They all look really nice. They're well organized. Everything is very consistent styling. The repeating groups are kind of set up with the data correctly done. I should have probably looked at the data types first, but yeah, so let's listings. We've got title of listing, description, availability, list of dates, bookings. So I don't think you would want a list of bookings on your listing data type, because that could get very long. But it has made a separate booking data type, which is the way I would do it. So that has a listing, and it also has a guest, start date, end date, status. So that looks pretty solid. This looks pretty solid, except you wouldn't want a list of bookings here. Images, yeah, that makes sense. Messages, so content, listing, receiver, sender, that all makes sense. Reviews, so that would be attached to a listing, would be left by a guest. Rating, comment, yeah, so that looks fine. So it's created the data types. It hasn't added any privacy rules, which I think Pete mentioned. So you would obviously have to do that to make sure your data is secure. Very important, especially when it's coming to stuff like users. You never want to have your user data publicly visible. And then it's given us like a load of different UIs, which are, while the workflows are not all fully set up. So like this one should obviously create a new message and stuff like that. It's done a lot of the other things that you would need to do, like set the states, resetting pop-ups and inputs and things like that. So yeah, you could absolutely see how much time this is going to save you, especially if you were not ever considering using like some kind of boilerplate or anything, and you were going to design all this from scratch. This has already saved you tens of hours of designing and I think Pete said it should be responsive. So yeah, you can see like the menu there changes. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, the fact that it's responsive and it's got like all this stuff set up, I think it's just going to save you so much time. And if you go through all of these issues here, and fix them, I think you're going to be in a pretty good starting place. So Bubble will kind of guide you through a lot of the things that you need to do. And then it would just be a case of going through and testing and figuring out which stuff works and which stuff doesn't. But yeah, I can already see that this would save you a load of time. So yeah, well done, Pete. I am very impressed. And yeah, looking forward to like the future improvements to this, because like, yeah, once it starts doing like privacy rules and stuff like that, I could see it being even more useful to so many people. But yeah, pretty impressive. I hope this session has been interesting to you. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, see you in the next one.